Hey there and welcome to today's partnered video on World of Tanks. Wargaming asked me to look into World of Tanks again. This is again because I started playing this game in 2013. That was a really long time ago. World of Tanks, well, I guess parts of it still look the same. This map, it kind of vaguely, familiarly rang a bell. I thought, oh, right, where am I gonna go? Yes, I'm gonna go over to this right side here, and I'm gonna scout. And that's what I did a lot in this game, scout. I used to sit there in a bush. I used to sometimes actively scout, so maneuver across the battlefield, trying not to die, and just detect things for my own team. It also used to be my role in Clan Wars, except that the clan commander back at the day, he was not great, and he basically always sent me to my death. Yes, that too, I suppose, is the role of a scout. It's just that I didn't particularly like it much. As for World of Tanks itself, I've mostly played lights and... lights and mediums. And when I'm saying lights, I mean things like the Chaffee and the T-50. I think it was the T-50-2 as well. The T-71... tanks like those. The wheeled vehicles that the game has gotten since, yeah, those were nowhere to be seen. Aside from that, it was medium tanks. Especially higher tiers and especially fast things, which tended to have decent guns but not a lot of armor. So, well, much as still is the case, positioning and figuring out how and where to deploy your tank is much more important than just clubbing it out against another heavy tank, for example, because you can't do that with a medium tank, let alone a light. You cannot survive hits, you cannot actually be asked to survive long enough if you take a couple of hits to have a meaningful impact on the battle. Whereas right now, even with the light, I'm just kind of biding my time. I'm seeing there's 4 targets here. There's not really any point for me to push in. And especially as my Chaffee has 550 hit points, there's not a whole lot for me to fight. I can get hit a few times, and that'll be that. For example, this KV-1 next to me, that's a heavy tank. That can take the hits. I cannot. But I can dish it out from here. And immediately after firing, duck back into cover. Luckily, the thing that I killed there, T-50-2, is another fast light tank. So it is definitely going to help my life extension program if I have fewer of those things potentially chasing me down later. Biding your time, especially important for a light, less so for a medium. Although for a medium, if you rush in too fast, you still have the same problem. As for World of Tanks, it changed a lot over the years. One of the things that I remember them implementing at some point, and I don't think I was there by that time, was the new physics. I think that was what, World of Tanks 8.0? We're now on World of Tanks something else. Units used to be on rails, for lack of a better term. They used to be just railroaded. And stuff like this, when I was trying to help this Super Chaffee do, climb up there, I couldn't do it. Maybe if you piled 3 or 4 tanks on top of each other, like in a small train, yes, maybe you could do it. Over here I got a shot off. I see that the AMD is going for it. He just took a hit, so that means this guy is fired. That gives me the opportunity to fire a shot at him. There we go. Arties tries to splash him. Now, the guy on my left has what, 8 hit points? He's not going to be able to make that move. I can. So let me go first. Let me take the hit if I have to. If you can turn fast enough. Unfortunately, I almost drown as I jump into the water here. Oh well. I was a bit rusty with my moves when I did this match. But still, enjoying a little scout game here nonetheless. Just derping around at tier 5. As for the other tank lines that I used to play, the STB-1, as well as the Leopard 1 from the Germans. I remember when that thing came out and people were like, what? Why does it not have armor? Because that was all the thing in... Well, not all the thing, it was what mostly counted. Having a lot of armor. If you didn't have any, well, it wasn't terrible if you knew how to position your vehicle, but the Leopard 1 was something so drastically different and so much more focused on mobility that it was just, well, it was definitely right in my wheelhouse. There's a ram kill on the Artie. Speaking of Artie, I actually played a few, well, not even a few rounds. I think I ground up a couple of lines of Artie because I'm a completionist. I wanted to see how that did. And also, I wanted to learn how to play it, so better as to defend against it. Because, for example, if you know what sort of arcs Artie can fire at, then you'll also have at least some sort of clue about what sort of position you can be safe from artillery. Now, let's move on to the STB-1. This is one of my favorite tanks, still. When I fired up the game again after so long, I decided this is what I wanted to play. The STB-1. I even put, I think, my custom Dutch flag on it as one of those premium textures that you could buy way back in the day. Oh, I used to spend a lot of money on this game. Had I put that into, oh, I don't know, Bitcoin, it would have been a very different trajectory for me. But hey, it was World of Tanks. Anyway, STB-1, it has a lot of influence, I believe, from the Leopard 1, although I might be wrong there. What I'm going to try and do here is join my allies and try and make my way over to the front line as quickly as possible, so that we can start dominating the middle of the map from this ridge here. The STB-1 is fairly fast, so it should be able to get up here and ideally, of course, not get hit by Artie, which most likely is looking in this general direction, because they know that there will be tanks rushing up here. And there it is. That is a decent smash of Artie, but it's not deadly. I mean, he's still on 75, 77% hit points. Unfortunately, I happened to encounter a slightly bigger gun. Yes, the FV215B183 for 1810 damage. Yeah, I remember that one. Okay, something with more armor then. The IS-6. The IS-6 was a heavy tank that I used quite a lot to grind credits in. This thing used to be very good at getting a lot of hits and not necessarily dying, especially if you were fairly well armored. Sorry, fairly well angled. And with this tank, I think I ground out a lot of cash for all sorts of different tanks. Unfortunately, I am looking at not an exclusive tier 8 match, so that kind of makes it a bit more dangerous. Also, there's all sorts of tanks about that I have absolutely no idea about. Some of these things I have not seen before. I mean, the T-28, yes, sure, that thing was in there way, way long with me. T-32, the Tiger II. I remember them adding the STRVs, but mostly from hearing about it, and I think I logged back in, tried to test it. That is, I considered grinding the line, and that didn't quite work. So I forgot about it. But some of the other ones, like the 50TP, the Progetto 66, the Char, most of these things I don't know what they do. And, well, that's where World of Tanks tends to have a bit of a learning curve. You don't strictly have to know from every single tank what their capabilities are, but you do have to kind of know, like, yeah, okay, this is going to be able to hit me and pen me, and this is not. So I'm going to try and stick here with the T-30 and the E-75, which have, respectively, a very heavily armored turret in the form of the T-30, and the E-75 basically armored everything else. There's also another tank going down here, a Conqueror. I'm going to help him out. So, yes, let's go. He asked me for assistance. Off we go. He's not going to be able to constantly push by himself. He does not, I think, have to reload for that. Especially not if he's facing two enemies. I'm trying to find a decent angle here, but what this thing does in armor, it does not have in the gun. It does not have an accurate gun, unfortunately. So as such, sniping with this thing is not exactly going to work out. And that means I'm going to have to stick close to my ally over here, this Conqueror, and see if we can push together. There we go. He did manage to hit me. And pen me. That was the tier 9, so again, it probably has a fairly decent gun. I'm not surprised it was able to deal damage to me. That was a complete fluff of my shot. Too soon. Trying to bypass this guy to make him decide what he wants to do. Is he going to fight me? Is he going to fight my ally? Or is he going to retreat? Lower Glacier didn't go through. Unfortunate. I thought, well, I don't know where to plan this thing, so let's try that instead. And there's a side shot. Right between the tracks. Still pushing on him. And there you go. The Conqueror takes him out. Well, Conqueror, after you. In the meanwhile, the guys over on the top level have cleared out the ridge here. So, while we did take a few losses... Ouch. Most of us are still here. The E-75, the Conqueror, the other Conqueror... sorry, the Conceiver... And the T-103. I think the T-30... Yeah, the T-30 died. Unfortunate. Now, with my crew being stunned, I'm not going to be as fast, but whatever. So be it. Let's just continue on. So, look at how much these guys are moving away from me. Oh, man. I do like that the guy thanks me. I later checked his profile. Very good win rate on that guy. Very good performance. And I find that, well, not always. Sometimes people who have better win rates are able to communicate better. Let me put it very carefully like that, because some of the most toxic players can also be some of the best players, and not necessarily in that order. Anyway, we're trying to push through here, and this is dangerous, because while we may hold almost the south of the map, their part of the map, they hold the middle. And they still have artillery. So we're kind of getting stuck. And honestly, I don't really know where to go. I cannot keep in the middle. I cannot go forward. I cannot really go backwards. So I'm kind of just sitting here going... Now what? Maybe I can spot artillery? I'm trying to use this rock to shield my left flank. I basically hold position until we actually find something to do. And there is something to do. And Waffenträger over there, but unfortunately this gun doesn't aim fast enough. So I couldn't get the shot off. Even if I did, I should have had armor... HE loaded. Ricochet. And there's the shot in the back from the STRV-103. Coming in from the middle. And now I'm just stuck. Like, I have no idea which way to angle. No idea which way to point. This is where it just shows how extremely rusty I have become at this game. But then again, the last time I played this must have been about 8 years ago. 8 years ago. If that soon. Probably was a little a little longer. As for the main interface from World of Tanks, it's both moved on quite a lot from last time I had a look at it. And it's remained largely the same. I mean, the tech trees are still the same. Yes, they probably shuffled some things around. They added a whole bunch of different vehicles that I have absolutely not ground. Most of the time, I don't even have an intention of grinding them because they're not light or medium vehicles. Except for the French. The French EBR line, the Lynx, and ending in the EBR 105 and the AMX 13 105. These are vehicles I would definitely be interested to play. I would probably not be great at them, because, well, they're definitely a different breed from what I was used to playing. I played the Batchat quite a lot. But, well, things like that line, and the British, such as, what was it? I think no, not the Manticore. Yeah, it might be the, Staghound. Saladin, and then the Concept 5. These are very mobile units, so definitely a good amount of mobility, good punchy gun, good spawning capabilities, not good survivability. That's where I come in most of the time. That's where my sort of assassin slash, well, dare I say, stealth build typically comes in. As for the rest of the lines, I used to play Germany a bit. You can see I've advanced to the E50. I've advanced to the Tiger II, but all of these heavy, slow vehicles, they just weren't really for me. I remember having the Waffenträger E100, but they changed that to the Guerilla 15. I'm not sure if I still have the WT E100. That thing was, oh, that was quite something when those things came out. This thing, the Waffenträger 4, they used to have basically an E100 with an extremely punchy gun on it. Basically something like this, but with an E100 chassis. That thing was capable of firing, what was it, like 6 shots? I think they had a 6-shot autoloader. Very, very fast, extraordinarily deadly gun. And when they were introduced, of course people immediately free XP'd all the way towards them, bought them. And I remember rolling out into Clan War, and you were just facing teams of, what was that, like 10 or 12 players a team, of 12 of those things. It was just distinctly unfun. And in matches, these things could get 3 kills in 6 or 7 seconds if there were, let's say, lesser healthy tanks, wounded tanks around them. And they would then start to reload. And they would then do that again. They were extremely deadly. So maybe it's for the better that that tank is no longer here. As for some of the other tanks that I used to play, the STA-1 and the STA... what was the premium one? The STA-2? Oh, the Type 59. I remember this thing. The Type 59 was a tank that you could get for money. And I think I might have been one of the last, let's say, generation of tankers who were able to get it before they removed it from the premium store. These things were very deadly if they were wolf packing. If you put a platoon of 3 of these things on the map, it was not always a GG, but good lord, you'd better be careful. Because these monsters are pretty good at everything. They're good at mobility, they're good at spotting, they have a decent enough gun, they have enough armor, especially on the turret, to survive hits. And because they can fire, quickly acquire targets, snap a shot off and pull back, they used to be really good. And even when I was working on this video, I did enjoy playing the Type 59 all over again. As for some of the new stuff, well, where do I start? You got the new Onslaught mode, Stronghold battles, topography to learn maps, like all of this stuff did not used to be on here. Of course, campaigns are, well, they're a completely new thing for me. No, I don't think I've played any of the campaigns in order to get any of the tanks. So, yeah, this is definitely something I could be doing. Oh, well, the Operation Stug. How about that? I did some of those units. Yeah, World of Tanks generally has something to do for you. If you are jumping in / back in, it can be a lot. If you're jumping back in, that is, it can be, I think, interesting to have another go and just see how the game has changed since. If you haven't played World of Tanks yet, then please check out the link down below in the description to have a go for yourself. It is still a free-to-play game. Yes, a premium account is recommended if you want to advance faster. There are generally ways to earn gold in the game, and with the gold resource over there you can buy World of Tanks Premium, which of course is going to give you more experience and which is going to give you a faster progression. This sometimes also is on offer depending on when you buy the discount, or depending on when you'd buy the premium account. For my taste, I'd still love it if World of Warships and World of Tanks had a joint premium account, but I guess that does not work out for wargaming. Anyway, that's it for this video on World of Tanks. I had a lot of fun with this game back in my day, and at some point I had just played enough. I had ground out the lines that I wanted to ground out, and I wanted to move on. But I'm glad I had another look. So thank you Wargaming for sponsoring this video. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you soon for more videos.